So if you watch the end credits of my videos, you might be wondering why I'm doing this instead of something else. Long story short, I had a few friends who I wanted to take part in said video. They couldn't because they were busy, so I'll say that for another time when they're free. Instead, we're going to look at one of the holiday's most famous antisocial introverts.
The Grinch!
Being one of Dr. Seuss's most iconic characters, most would know him for both his literary and television adaptations of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Though after watching the live-action movie again, which isn't really that bad in comparison to the other movies, I decided to explore a headcanon I had on this guy for a while. It's not just a theory of him being autistic, I'll get to that, but also a theory of where he was abandoned as a baby because he was born different. How do I think this? Well, first off, let's hear the story the ants tell Sydney about the Grinch, which I believe was just a, simplified version of the story, so the ants wouldn't have to talk to birds and bees with Cindy.
Oh, so that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my canon in a nutshell. After the Grinch was born, his horrified parents, whoever they were, left him to die because he was born abnormal. If you think this is a bit too cruel to happen, let's just say it's a lot more common than you think. Now in the same scene where he's a baby, it was hinted at, whatever the case, because he was so close to a Christmas party and all that.
So the noise!
There's one thing I hate. All the noise.
He was traumatized at an early age about the holidays and developed a hatred towards that. However, while this may be a factor, I find it hard to believe such a moment, as a baby, could affect him so much on its own. While on that note, he was also raised by such a loving pair of parents.
Hey, you wanna hold the Santa plate?
Santa, bye-bye.
Which also made me think of this. Let's say the Grinch is autistic. Well, what would that mean? Well, aside from being picked on more by kids for being different, I think he would have also been harassed and picked on by adults. Or overused and loved. Let me explain. Now, imagine that you are a who loves Christmas a lot. And then you hear your neighbor and or friend has adopted a green baby. Now imagine, will you, that he started to become a toddler. And let's say he's an autistic toddler. And that they don't know what autism is, so they think he's just a troubled child. And then, Christmas time comes around, so what do? Love the living heck out of this kid by overexposing him to the joys of Christmas. Yeah, this would be a problem enough for a typical child, but to someone with Asperger's syndrome, who has a natural fear and uneasiness of large crowds, such a large gathering people shouting for attention, gifts, and trying to make an ornament of him would have probably felt very scary, as well as overstimulating. On top of that, he might have also thought, oh, so I'm only being loved because of the holidays? Thus, this would have made him associate Christmas with hate rather than love. But wait, there's a contradiction.
You know, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. I just love the colors. The red and the green.
Isn't this just the attention that I was talking about that made him introverted in the first place? Well, yes, but as cheesy as it sounds, when it's from the opposite gender, your same age, which from my childhood experience, I found I could be a lot more confident around, all bets are suddenly off. And as his mother puts it,
For some reason, when he came home that day, he really got into the Christmas spirit for the first time.
However, after allowing Christmas a chance, and while being humiliated while trying to look nice for the occasion, what happened at the school party might have just been the breaking point. Pretty harsh, but not something that I think is too far out there in left field. See, the thing with high-functioning Aspies is, it's very easy for us to become mad, and to blame one thing in particular for this anger. I've been there, and to the Grinch, he would have just been thinking, screw Christmas, and screw people.
I hate Christmas! I hate it!
Though luckily this headcanon and video does end on a happier note.
Deja who? I...
So after years of isolation, he decided not only the best way to end Christmas, but to get back at all the who's he's despised, to just get rid of Christmas. This in a weird way reminds me of a similar experience I had as a kid. At one point, for some reason, I was grounded from watching TV, so I decided if I couldn't watch TV, No one could, and don't you dare make that comparison to that one iCarly episode. I didn't just want to hide all of the remotes. I mean, this was a time where you could still change the channel by walking up to the TV. My plan was to destroy every television I could find. I obviously didn't go through with it, simply because that would have just gotten me in trouble, and ultimately it wasn't the type of person I wanted to be. Now in the Grinch's case, being all alone with nothing to lose, he goes through with it. Just as he's about to complete his mission, he hears the singing and sees he hasn't destroyed Christmas after all. So what's going on in his head at this point?
It came without ribbons. It came without tags.
It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
He probably thought back of all the good times he did have around Christmas. Might have felt scary and overstimulating, but he still realized that, in the end, it was love. And it wasn't just the kind with dressing him up as an ornament, but genuine as well. Much like I was thinking about destroying my TV, maybe he thought, aside from what the book says,
Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store.
Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
A lot to assume, but at the same time, I think it's something every ass species should stop and think about during the holidays. Even with how joyful Christmas can be, people forget it can also be stressful. Not just to normal people, but to atypicals and ASDs as well. I myself actually like to spend some alone time during large holiday gatherings in a separate room watching TV. Though like the Grinch at the end of the story, I still remember that this is supposed to be a fun time. Maybe there are still things that the Grinch isn't comfortable with, but after giving the Who's another chance, he does look past this, and is able to find happiness with other people. While I like my Christmas alone time, I enjoy it when someone joins me to watch whatever on ABC Family or Nickelodeon, and I enjoy opening presents and family meals, because I know it's better to be a little uncomfortable and feel loved rather than being completely alone. So with that, I say, whether the Grinch is autistic or not, which I think he does since he has trouble associating with people, is reclusive and very sensitive, I do encourage anyone with any anxiety issues, not just autism, to not forget that, even when you're in the same room as 20 people for a holiday gathering, even if you feel a bit overstimulated, remember, it's the holiday time. Enjoy it. You only got one family, and even if sometimes it doesn't feel comfortable or great, it's still a time of love and giving. So be sure to enjoy your holidays and show some love back. Annoying family group photos and all.
Cheer to all who's far and near. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp.
Who wants the gizzard? I do. Too late. That'll be mine.
'Tis the season, and Merry Christmas to you all.